Last week, when information about the Oblivion Remastered edition started leaking online, none of us really believed that they were just going to randomly launch it one day, that they were, in fact, going to have months of a marketing campaign behind it. They were going to try to get as many eyes on it as possible before release, but that wasn't the case. They shadow dropped it today on a random Tuesday, and while there is a lot of hype and it is already trending on social media, there are also some controversial decisions that are already being talked about, like their decision to go for body types 1 and 2 in the character creation system instead of male and female. But before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community and my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, obviously, this is a game that is going to sell. There are tons of people out there who have love and nostalgia for Oblivion and Elder Scrolls in general. We have been waiting so many years for new Elder Scrolls content. It is insane. So, there are going to be a lot of people who are super hyped for this, and if you are very excited for it, play it yourself, purchase it, support it, and I hope that you genuinely have fun. But with the state of the gaming industry, there are a lot of worries when it comes down to decisions that are being made by developers, and now we are finding out that the Oblivion Remastered Edition has decided to opt for body types instead of male and female, which is, of course, not particularly shocking, but pretty questionable, and a lot of people are not happy about this. Now, I did stream the event, and a lot of people, of course, are publishing this information online, but really quickly, if you don't know the general kind of 411 on it, it is available right now on PS5, Windows PC, and Xbox for $49.99. PC players can get it on Steam, and Game Pass Ultimate subscribers will have access to it on PC and Xbox too. So it is $49.99 for the standard edition, and then for $10 more, you can get things like the digital art book and soundtracks and some exclusive armors. It says, though, Oblivion Remastered does use Unreal Engine 5 to give the entire world a high-resolution makeover with improved lighting and textures, and I think that this looks visually fantastic. While I think that some of the lighting still looks a little bit wonky, and that was a big worry I had last week, the textures look phenomenal. The new character models do look pretty cool. It, to me, screams remake and not a remaster. They've updated some of the combat, they've changed some of the voice acting, like they have done a complete overhaul. The remaster changes the UI and leveling systems to be closer to modern RPGs. Enemy combat animations, sound and visual effects are more realistic to add some heft to the game's first-person combat too. There is even a sprint button now. So they've talked about how they did a lot of modernizing, and whenever I hear about modernization, I become a little bit skeptical, but obviously, always be skeptical unless you yourself are playing something and experiencing it firsthand. And now, yes, we have found out that one of the modern changes they've made is to the body types. As you can see on screen, it says skin tone. There's a slider, age, young to old slider, and then body types, type 1 and type 2. So they've done away with gender, guys, and this is the direction that they're heading in, which is super controversial. Now, obviously, overall, this is not going to change the entire experience. It's not like this entire game is going to be complete trash now. This is the type of messaging that needs to stop in the industry. Maybe there are developers out there that just don't realize it is an obvious political message. Sure. There's plenty that do, I bet, and that decided this was the direction to go in, but I am sure that there are some people out there who are just genuinely passionate about making a game like this and who believe, well, this is just the norm, so it's okay, and they don't understand that we are in the middle of like Gamergate 2 and the culture war, and there are political statements being made behind decisions like this. Look at what happened to Lords of the Fallen, though. They initially had body types A and B in the game. They did a poll. It got an overwhelming 88% of voters who wanted them to go to male and female. They did, and look at what's happening. That game is doing phenomenally right now because they did away with political correctness and following industry trends, and they just did what their customer base wanted. The game hit the Steam Global's top sellers list for Update 2.0, which is fantastic for a game that came out over 2 years ago, and it's clear that people are just sick and tired of seeing this BS in games. Now, again, it's not going to ruin the overall experience. If you're still super hyped for this, purchase it, play it, support it. I hope that you have an amazing time in this game because Oblivion is really awesome. But if they changed something like this, it really makes me worry about what else they've changed, because there are going to be people who are going to say that this isn't a really big deal, which is your opinion, and that's cool. But if it's not such a big deal, why did they change it in the first place? Clearly, somebody thought to themselves this was important enough to take the time and effort to add in, and there are a lot of gamers who are not looking forward to this. I mean, we saw the same thing happen with the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. They decided to do away with male and female and go for body types A and B, which is disheartening in a game like this because it's a remaster, even though this kind of to me strikes more like a remake. Regardless, it is an already existing product. So I do not think that they should be making changes like this. I think they should keep it as faithful to the original as possible. And there are some games that come out now that are absolutely phenomenal that feature this, like Elden Ring. It is an absolutely phenomenal game that has super fluid and fantastic combat, amazing world building and lore, and it's got super awesome boss fights, but they also went in the direction of body type A and B instead of male and female. And look, I'm sure that there's a lot of developers that also work at From Software who knew that that was going to be a controversial decision, but maybe they were afraid to not follow industry trends, or maybe they simply wanted to push a political message. We'll never really know. But ultimately, there are, I'm sure, developers who just thought that it was a norm that was okay to follow because that's just what so many other studios were doing. In the case of Oblivion Remastered, it's very similar to Dragon Quest III 2D HD remake, where it's an existing product, and so you want them to be as faithful to that original as possible. You don't want them making changes like this and making alterations like this. You want it to be as close while also being modernized in terms of the visuals, and the combat gets updated a little bit, not changing storylines or character backgrounds or removing options like picking between male and female. And I think that it is so important that people voice how unhappy they are on social media. I believe that we can make our voices heard, that this is not what we want to see, without everyone outright boycotting a product. Like, the rest of the game so far looks really fantastic, but this is definitely a reason why some people will not support it, and I completely get that. But I think that there are other ways that we can make our voices heard to Bethesda, and that just happens to be reposting on social media, retweeting, and putting up different threads in places like Reddit so that they can actually see that we do not like it. Like what happened with Lords of the Fallen. The game initially came out with body types A and B. People did not like it, and after lots of criticism, the developers actually listened to us and decided, you know what? We are going to step away from this politically correct direction, and we are going to give our audiences, our customers, what they want. And then they implemented those changes because it's what people asked for. And of course, because this decision was made, there are a lot of people voicing their thoughts already online, people who are really unhappy with this and who are just saying, I'm going to withhold my purchase now that I've found this out until maybe Bethesda addresses it. Modders will fix that real quickly, I bet. Of course it does. Can't wait to see all the other modern audience update BS they threw into this game. Microsoft is as bad as Ubisoft. That's it. Will not play Skyblivion for life. I know a lot of people are also talking about Skyblivion. I personally think that this is going to severely damage the chances Skyblivion has of being a massive success. I think that if Skyblivion had released last year at its, free price tag, so you don't have to buy it, I think a lot of people would have played that and they would not be purchasing this remake/remaster. But we still don't have a solid release date on that, and they're going to have to change all of their marketing material now because they were basically saying Bethesda's not giving you guys what you want, and we are reintroducing it to nostalgic fans, but also new gamers, and that's not the case anymore because Bethesda's reintroduced it just fine themselves. I still think it will come out and be pretty good, but when it comes out will be the major question, and it's really not even competition for, Bethesda and Virtuous Studios Remastered Edition. probably the least of the game's problems. Male and female is too offensive now. Even Mark Kern had posted this thread talking about it. Lots of similar responses. Well, I'm hashtag non binary. Of course they did. Most of this was developed during the gay retard era of gaming. I have never played the original and was going to buy this one. Looks like now I will not. Why won't they ever learn that woke is over? So it will be interesting to see over the next couple of days what other changes we've found are in the game. I hope that it's no others. I hope that this is like the only difference or major difference, of course. And I hope that this experience is still really fantastic and it is super wholesome and nostalgic for everybody. But if you were going to purchase this, just be aware that they have decided to go in the direction of body types. And while this will not ruin the experience for everybody, and I'm hoping the rest of the game itself is fantastic, just know what type of purchase you're making and what type of studio, of course, you are supporting. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.